Hello and welcome to Ukraine Today's press review. I'm Rahim Rahimtullah. In today's program, we'll look at what the international media is saying about the situation in East Ukraine following a ceasefire which came into effect on Sunday. The truce appears to be holding in many parts of the region, though fighting is continuing around the strategic transport hub of Debaltseve, which is under government control. It is to there that we now turn with Daniel McLaughlin, who writes in the Irish Times, Ukrainian troops dream of peace at Debaltseve flashpoint. McLaughlin's frontline report details the atmosphere around the town, which he says is tense. The situation remains dangerous. Ukrainian troops are largely surrounded and can't get their injured comrades out. He says in Artemivsk, 45 kilometers from Debaltseve, the ceasefire feels fragile. The streets are busy with military trucks and ambulances. And in the cafes, parents try to distract children who gaze wide-eyed at tables of soldiers cradling Kalashnikovs. McLaughlin says many soldiers are unconvinced by the idea of a truce after a previous attempt last September failed. He writes, for days the insurgents have claimed to surround Debaltseve and demanded that Ukraine's troops in the town surrender. Kiev refused, insisting the road to Artemivsk was still open. The area is the flashpoint and weakest link of the new ceasefire. We turn now to John Luff in the Moscow Times, who says that the West must stick to its guns in Ukraine. Luff argues that the US and the EU must not lose sight of the fact that Russian President Putin is trying to reshape the international order. He says Washington and Brussels are in danger of falling into disunity over the question of whether or not to arm Ukraine, but they should not let that blind them to the broader context of events. He says Putin thrives on creating divisions in the West, and he will feel doubtless emboldened by signs that US policymakers are out of step with their European counterparts. Luff argues that Western leaders shouldn't see the ceasefire in Ukraine as a solution to the conflict. Instead, they need to look at the bigger picture. The West's message to the Russian elite should be simple. You will not succeed in creating new international rules by breaking the old ones. Russia has been down this road before, and it ended badly. For our final piece today, we look directly at Russia's geopolitical tactics with an article which appeared in Bloomberg courtesy of David Tweed, who explains why Putin fears China. Tweed says Russia is expanding its reach into Asia as a result of the collapse in relations with the West and its uneasy ties with Beijing. He argues Russia's forays reflect a dual strategy: to find new markets as its economy is crushed by sanctions and last year's tumble in oil prices, and to diversify from its one big ally in Asia, China. Tweed says that Russia's pivot to Asia predates the Ukraine crisis, but says because Moscow now has pariah status in the West, the move is being accelerated. But he cites expert opinion, which says that many Asian nations, like South Korea, will always look to the US or China to do business before turning to Russia. As one academic has it, Russia's geostrategic eyes are bigger than its stomach. Simply put, Russia doesn't have the economy to support a sustained presence in Asia. No doubt the next few days will tell us much about the potential success of the current ceasefire deal in East Ukraine. The situation appears to depend largely on what happens in Debaltseve, where Ukrainian troops are stubbornly holding their positions in the face of a sustained militant offensive. Join us again tomorrow when we'll have an update for you on that situation, and we'll look again at what the media is saying in another press review. In Kiev, this is Ukraine Today.